Welcome to our enterprise membership presentation. Uh, I am part of the Washington, Alaska HFMA enterprise team. I felt this was a really great way to describe what HFMA does for an organization. So give your team the tools and perspective to drive organizational performance. So a little bit about me. I'm Wendy Gibson. I have been with Providence St. Joseph Health for about 12 years. Providence was the second enterprise member to sign up. We're really excited about that. We've had a long and lengthy relationship with HFMA that we truly appreciate. I'm a project manager by trade, and I was tasked with a project to increase caregiver engagement as well as performance and development and productivity. So I sat down with our teams and we did a very in-depth study on what are the skill sets that we need to take our staff to the next level. And we felt HFMA was a fantastic fit for that. So we sat down, negotiated our contract, and then I later deployed HFMA throughout our organization. For those of you who don't know much about Providence, it is a 120,000 caregiver organization. We're across 7 different states. We have 50 plus hospitals and over 1,000 clinics. So it was a rather large deployment. And we have quite a bit of people that have actually engaged in the program. So we're really excited about it. Another thing that's a little bit different about our enterprise membership is we go across 7 different states. So I get to deal with multiple chapters, which is really exciting. So from Washington to Texas, to California to Oregon, we've met a lot of different chapters that actually engage with our folks at their geographic level, which we felt was really important and a really great quality that HFMA was able to provide. So obviously I'm an enterprise member as well. I've taken a lot of the educations and webinars. I've been to several of the events, so that's been really exciting. And being a part of that content and actually seeing it delivered, not only as a user, but as a board member and part of this liaison membership, it's been really great to kind of see both sides of that, so I really enjoyed that. I later became a board member. I'm also the conference co-chair. I was able to put together with a great team our women's conference last year, which was really exciting. We also work with networking and social events to kind of get people engaged. Again, that engagement and networking, that face-to-face has been really important to me. And then again, I became the HFMA Enterprise Liaison nationally for both Providence and for Washington, Alaska. So thank you. Currently, Washington, Alaska has 4 enterprise members. Obviously, Providence was the first and is currently our largest. We now have Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, Whidbey Health, and Columbia County Health System. They all came on within the last couple months, so we're excited to bring them on. So one of the things about being an enterprise liaison is you really need to understand the value of what HFMA provides at the enterprise level. So again, when we did our study internally, we really needed to understand what could HFMA provide for us. And as I did my research, it's really great to see the industry-wide knowledge. It wasn't just the Northwest, it wasn't just hospitals, it wasn't just clinics. It was a wide knowledge of healthcare, finance, and management. So it took all 3 of those things and combined them together, and we have this great knowledge across very different streams and very different ideas, and it allows us to really see what works and what doesn't. And that's been a really great level. The other thing is a high-level leadership. You'll see that any of our metrics that you kind of see about HFMA, most of our members are, they're either leaders, they're directors, they're managers, they're people with great experience. So you have people with a lot of experience that you're working with. You have a lot of people with industry level knowledge that has been earned, so it's really great to see people with a high level of leadership, a high level of understanding and experience, and that's very valuable. The other thing that I thought was really great was peer reviewed. So any of the content that you see in their training sessions is actually peer reviewed. It's validated. It's, they really make sure that it hits the high marks. It's best practice. And those are really valuable. As an enterprise, you'll find that a lot of companies no longer have internal training programs. So again, this is a challenge in our market nowadays when we get slimmer and slimmer, is one of the things that you lose weight early on is often your training programs. And external training programs are highly expensive, and they have to customize to you. That was one of the other things that we really enjoyed about HFMA is if we brought content to them and said, hey, we need this kind of training, they would partner with us to create that. So again, that was a high value. The expensive training. One of the things that we've noticed when our contract came up and we were evaluating our ROI is we saved over $500,000 in what we would have paid for training any other way. So the value of training is the expense of it. Any other training program that you have, if it's internal, you have to audit it and you have to maintain it. And again, that can be very expensive. You need staff to do that. You need people knowledgeable and experienced to do that. You have to keep the content relevant and up to date. And these can be challenging. So again, a program that can do this can be quite appreciative. The other thing that's really critical is the value of a trained professional. Okay, performance metrics and productivity come from really well-trained folks and folks that know the business and they know what they're doing in it. It also takes around risk. If people, with a lot of the COVID stuff going up right now and a lot of the changes with the CARES Act and a bunch of other stuff, if you're not up to date in it, you can lose millions very quickly. So again, the knowledge level can really mitigate a lot of risk. And the other thing is when you're developing your people, and you're giving them the opportunity to grow, you get a lot of longevity. They develop themselves to become leaders and they stay with your organization. Turnover is highly expensive, as so is training. So HFMA fills a lot of those needs. So as an enterprise liaison, you want to make sure that you understand what those needs can be met and how well HFMA can service those. So best practices. So when you become an enterprise liaison, it's really important to research any new company you have. I do a lot of research. I go on websites, I go to Glassdoor, I check the financials, I look at who their staff is, I get to know their names. What's the community they serve? What's their mission? What's their vision? How many people are we likely to have? Is it a group of 3 people or is it a group of 1,000 people? So kind of get to know what you're looking at so that you can meet their needs and meet them on their level. The second thing to do is to connect. HFMA is a lot about networking and meeting people and creating relationships. And it's not just connecting as a professional or as an enterprise liaison, but as a person. Get to know them as a person so that you can meet their needs on their level, understand what their development is, what their professional understanding is, as well as their personal. So connecting and building those relationships is highly critical. Understand what their needs are, understand what their goals are, understand where their development is, and be specific. When you're starting to understand those organizational and development goals, ask them specifically, if this was successful, what would it look like? How would you measure it? Give it a number, give it a specific metric that you can look at and say, okay, this is where we're getting to, this is where we are, and this is where we're going. So it's very valuable to understand those metrics. One of the other nice benefits of HFMA is you have an enterprise dashboard. Make sure they know how to use that. Make sure that they know the value in that so that they can kind of see the metrics of how their success is going, how their growing is. And if they need other metrics, you need to kind of talk that through so you can make sure you can meet those needs. Provide them support. Again, one of the things I was able to do because I had already deployed this program is when I come in and I talk to folks, I ask them, what do you need? Do you need a welcome letter? Do you need a SharePoint site? Do you need, what kind of tools and resources do you need? We do brown bags. We do road shows. What can we do to help you engage your people in this program? And there's a lot of things that we can do to support. A lot of our chapters have some really great ways that they reach out to folks and really trying to help out. Share your experiences. So again, as somebody who's experienced in deployment, I have a lot of experience where I can share those things, and I should share what was successful and also what's unsuccessful. Don't be afraid to share what didn't work. That can be really critical and important to someone else's success. Share your resources, share your knowledge. You have a limited amount of information that you can share because you only know what you know. So share other people too. If there are other resources or other people out there, they might be able to share further and meet needs that you can't. So make sure you share. The other really critical thing is to schedule. Schedule a monthly, bi-monthly, or quarterly meeting, no less than quarterly, so that you're checking in with them and you're saying, hey, how are you doing? Are we meeting your needs? Is there something you need more? And again, healthcare is always changing. It's a very fluid environment. So make sure that you're meeting those people on those needs and that you're checking in regularly. Send reoccurring emails so people know that the content's out there. I know that I get an email from my my partner on the inside, and they always send me, what's coming up, especially with COVID. There's a lot of really great material. So those are some of the best practices I use when, as an enterprise liaison. I think it's a really great experience. I think everybody should get the opportunity to kind of meet with our enterprise members and understand what it means as a business. I work with a lot of providers, so that's a little more where my knowledge is, but I think it's a great experience all the way around. So I also included in here a little more detailed things. So for those of you who might want to kind of look at this with a little more detail, here's a little example of kind of, how do I do that research? What do I mean by share those experiences and such? And then this is a little bit of research that I did when our four enterprise members came on, so I could get to know them a little bit better. So that's what I have. Any questions?